What's going on, guys? So I've got the Milwaukee rolling cart. As you can see, I've started disassembling the axle, and what we're looking at doing today is taking all this apart, and we're going to look at putting these on the outside. I have dropped into Bunnings. I grabbed this. It's an axle that's long enough. I'll probably have to cut it, and I'm going to try to swap it over. The difference is going to be, this is a solid piece, and you can see there's a flat edge on it that allows it to sit in the gap there that they've made and it doesn't spin. So I'm going to have to do something like that for this, which is easy enough, but because it's hollow, when I cut it, it's going to take away the strength. So that's obviously a lot stronger, and this won't be. So this will be just a mock-up until I order a new piece. I'll see if this works. I will be ordering the other bits and pieces, and I'll try to do a proper setup, and we'll see if it's any better than how it turned out in my other video for the comparison of the wheel cart versus the roller. So let's see how we go. So just going through how to disassemble it. If you can't figure it out, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a couple of split pins, or are they called something else? I'm not sure what they're called. Were they split pins? They're just pins that sit in the holes there, holds it on. You just got a couple of washers and you just pull it off. So on the inside, usually, I don't know what you call it, but you can see the inside hub bit sits out a little bit. On this side, it's inside. So when we flip it around, just so it's not rubbing on anything, I don't know if you can see, it'll be sitting off. You don't want it around this way because it'll be rubbing like that. It's around that way. So here I'm just marking out on the new axle the part that I've got to cut out. I just put it up against the last axle and made it long enough that it'll go past the wheel and the bracket on the trolley. So unfortunately, I don't have a grinder on me. I was going to go pick one up, but figured I'd give it a go with the bandsaw, and it did get it done in the end. But if you have got a grinder, it will make life a little bit easier. So here I'm just eyeing off the length of the bar itself, and then I'm going to cut it. You can measure it. I'm just doing it by eye. So I've cut a fair bit off. That's enough to go through that way and enough for the wheel. And obviously you can see how it's going to be not as strong. This stuff's pretty, feels pretty thick though. So it's 5/8, whatever that is, thick. So we'll see how it goes. So what I'm going to do, I have to take these bolts out to separate it, put that in, and then close it, because obviously you won't be able to push that the whole way down. So here I'm just pushing the plastic bits of the PACKOUT up. They just slot in. So all you have to do is hit it and it unlocks. I had to do it with the bottom one and the middle one. And then once I got the axle in, I just put the frame back together, all the screws, and clipped the plastic bits back together. I'm just going to throw the washer it came with on there. Throw that on. Beautiful. Do the same for the other side. And you just want to mark where you want to put that. You want it fairly close. About there. We might go through that. So if we go about there, then we can chop it there. So I'm just using a small punch. Just makes it a little bit easier to put a drill bit in. Makes it easier to start off. All right, so I'm actually pretty impressed at the moment. Pretty impressed. For a mock-up trial, she turned out pretty good. That sits in there perfectly. There's a tiny bit of play. Like I could probably, look really, if I throw another washer or two in there, it'd be all right. But on the next one, I might try to make it a little bit tighter. We'll see how this goes. Same on this side. That one's probably closer, but how much wider is that? She rolls, that doesn't move. Let's give it a go. So it sits all right. And obviously I haven't got the locking mechanisms for the bottom plate, so should be able to rock up and just flick it up. Still sits there. Maybe I'll put a lock on it. I don't really know yet. It does sort of sit all right, so it doesn't move. Still stands. And you can just flick it down. I don't know, guys. What do you reckon? Do you think you would want a lock on it or not? Feels all right so far. Obviously there's no weight on it, so a few bumps. I reckon we'll load it up, see if there's much difference. Alright, so packed up. Alright guys, so hit me up in the comments. What are your thoughts so far? Do you think this has solved the tipping problem that a lot of us have had? If you didn't know, that's why I've done this. I did a whole nother video before this, so check that out, comparing the wheel cart to the roller. The problem was a lot of tipping and it wasn't so stable. It was a lot more maneuverable, and that's what I think Milwaukee were going for. I did know that they were trying to narrow it down to get through certain doors and access on sites, all that sort of stuff, which is fantastic. And if that's what you're after, then that's it's going to be fine for you. But for myself, I found it tipping quite a few times, especially if you start stacking. Even the small stack that I had at the start, and it's in those videos, was tipping. There's not much weight in them, and it's not very high. So it is what it is. Some people will probably hate this, that I've modified it, but let me know if you love it, hate it. Love to hear your thoughts. But so far, I think it has worked. You can see the results in that video. You can see even going through the dirt, that dirt patch just next door is quite lumpy. I went off onto the grass, side to side, running, slow, all that sort of stuff, even over the little bumps in my garage. That sort of stuff was affecting it originally and making it tip, which isn't what you want. And I do really like now not having the locking mechanisms on the bottom plate. Some people might not like that. They might want the lock on it. You might need it for storage. I'm not sure. It does sort of click up and stay up. It is quite firm. So we'll see how it goes in the long run. I will be taking it out in the field and testing it out and see what happens, and I'll let you guys know. So I would love to see a revision of the PACKOUT roller. Maybe a little bit more solid as well. There's a lot of flex, so it's up in the air whether this wheel cart will last. I think a lot of guys are wondering. So I would love to hear anyone that has had problems with the actual wheel cart, maybe flexing too much, braking, all that sort of stuff. The PACKOUT plastic is awesome. I do think it will last a while. I just don't fully know, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping you guys can fill me in on that. But that's it, guys. So if this has been informational, educational, or just an experience, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It all helps me out. And until next time, guys, stay addicted to tools.